Aloha, this is Skye The Soulful Progressive with FNN, the Feminist News Network, the feminist news that's right for you. Welcome to Skye in the Pagoda Room. Thanks for watching, thanks for joining, and if you haven't told your friends about that soulful progressive news that's out there, independent and giving it with facts, you better let them know where it's at and tell them to subscribe today. I know that's right. Okay, now what you can also do is click on that link below that says Feminist News Network and you can see more videos. Alright, and ring that bell so you can get notification. So, now, I'm going to bring it to you. I'm going to talk about it. I did my pieces, the beginning and the ends at the concert, but I was just feeling too good. It looks too messy, so I'm doing it again now. Why? Because I'm going to give you a review of George Clinton's Parliament Funkadelic final and last grand tour. Woo! Hold on, wait a minute. Yeah! I had a real type of thing going down, getting down. Has a whole lot of funk going round. Ow! Don't let me sing too much because I don't want to pay for it. Alright. Now, I was at the VIP sitting of George Clinton at the Blue Note in Hawaii for his final and last tour. This man is near 80 years old. So what I would like to do is give a quick little biography about George Clinton and then give you a review of the tour. Alright, so let's take a listen of how funk got created. Alright.
But who was Dr. Funkenstein? Who was the musician behind the masquerade? George Clinton began life in 1941 in an outhouse.
Yeah, I was born in an outhouse, North Carolina. My mother said she thought she had to go to the bathroom. And I almost got wiped out.
George was the oldest of 9 children. His mother worked as a cleaning woman and babysitter. When he was 11, George's father came and took the kids to live with him in New Jersey.
We saw this big black shiny car coming down the road down the hill. And my mother told us my father was coming to get us to take us up to stay with him for a while.
Growing up in a rough neighborhood in Newark, George was part of a street gang called the Outlaws. He quit the gang when his friend Leroy was murdered right in front of him.
The car drove up and boom, and blood and everything splattered all over everything. And nobody knew what had happened, and we realized that somebody was hit. It was like Leroy was shot. And car pulled off. And I think that I went blank for me.
George knew that he wasn't a gangster. He heard Frankie Lyman on the radio and thought singing could be a way out. He was still in junior high when he formed a doo-wop group called the Parliaments, after the Cigarettes. They developed a reputation as being the smoothest group in town. When George started working at a barbershop, the Parliaments all hung out there. They used the back room to rehearse after hours and sold pot out the back door.
Everybody would congregate in the barbershop, you know, just chit-chat, singing, just a general hang in the hood.
It was the place where you traded stories and told lies. And, you know, you could make up to $700-800 a week. But I would always spend it trying to make records.
In September of '62, the Parliaments went to Detroit to try their luck at Motown. They were signed but never recorded for the label. They were too much like the Temptations, but not quite as slick. Motown signed George as a songwriter, but he wanted to make his own records. In 1967, George hooked up with a new label called Revelot, and that summer the Parliaments released I Wanna Testify. It was a top 20 hit.
You see them up there doing their little thing, you know what I'm saying, with their suits and their process, and I mean, believe me, there wasn't a wave
that wasn't wrong. Okay, so you wanted to be that. It felt good watching hometown people from the barbershop that made it. All right, and you felt kind of lost when they left Plainfield and went to Detroit.
In 1968, race riots erupted in Watts, Detroit, and Newark. One of the Parliament's Motor City gigs was cut short due to fighting outside, and the musicians barely escaped a shootout on their way home. Back in Newark, George's barber shop was one of the only buildings left standing after rioters burned down the entire block. When they were in Boston, George and the band fell in with the hippie college crowd.
Okay, so George Clinton talks to Dave Lawrence of Hawaii Public Radio and explains how he got the name Parliament Funkadelic. And basically it came out of necessity. Is there a need to discuss afterwards? Maybe. Let's take a listen.
I know that's right.
All right.
We just changed our whole direction because the European invasion was happening. You know, they started Rolling Stones, Beatles, and Led Zeppelin, and Who's, and all of that. Jimmy, I knew him from the Isley Brothers and King Curtis, but he had come back here with a brand new thing. And so right away I saw we had to change because Motown had moved to L.A. and it was no longer a Detroit thing no more. So we went off into Funkadelic. Turned the amps up real loud, started playing loud Motown music.
I know that's right.
And that's what people could start calling it Funkadelic instead of psychedelic.
That term, how did that term come to be for its first?
James Jamerson, you know, the bass player at Motown, called Billy Bass and Eddie Hazel, Tiki and Bernie Worrell the Young Funk Brothers, because, you know, they was all like 16 years old. He called them the Young Funk Brothers, and psychedelic music was the music that was happening at that moment. So I just took what he said, the funk, you know, which had been a term my mother's used to, you know, use with Lightning Hopkins and Muddy Waters. That was funky music back in those days. And I took that and just saw Jimmy was doing the psychedelic. And I said, I'd do this funkadelic, the mid-tempo version of R&B. You know,
there's the secret,
rock and
people.
roll was
Mid-tempo
fast version of R&B. You know, the Chuck Berrys and the Richards, you know, and that was rock and roll. And also the blues was the real slow part. Both of those was taken by the European groups that was coming on. They was doing rock and roll and blues. So we said, we're going to do the mid-tempo music. The only people that was doing that.
You charted your own course. That's something that wasn't being done.
Yeah. So New Orleans was the only one that had a field that wasn't, they were the only ones doing that mid-tempo, you know. I'm alive, woman. You don't love. That's the really funk that we did. Whoa, hey. So you got the Meters and us were probably the only bands doing that basic, raw, sound like background tracks, and just talk shit over it.
Good old funky music for one.
Funky music, that was the first one of those songs. That was when I decided to make that turn and go deliberately away from the strict, tight productions at Motown, because they was classy, tight, clean. I had to go totally the opposite way. Loud, noisy, long, no 3 minutes. We went for album cuts, songs that would last for 7, 8 minutes. You know, Free Your Mind, I did that one, that crazy, so I set a standard. You didn't know what bag we was going to be in from then on. Because it was hard trying to get a 45-hit single every time you put a record out. So I said, well, I'm deliberately not go for 45s and just go for albums, jazz, gospel, and rock and roll. They were
Seaming it all together.
Yeah, and those were the ones that made the album sell. So it would take a long time because you'd be underground for years. And I realized that we stayed underground. I mean, popular as we've been with the mothership and all that, we still probably the best underground secret, best kept secret, because we still sell out like we still got hit records. But it's those albums, you know, that take the news forever.
And Bootsy, obviously.
Lifetime Achievement Awards in a couple of weeks.
No, it's huge. Tell us a...
Okay, So he told it and kind of smirked over it real quick, but that's a big deal to get a Lifetime Achievement Award. So will George continue being a part of the band? The most important answer after leaving the tour and leaving the band, offered to let everyone know in the interview by George.
Yeah, so they got the chance to see
The evolution of
the thing, and they was blown away.
George produced the Chili's in the mid-'80s. I mean, George's connection with them goes back decades.
Sally, Freaky Sally, they got some, Fred, we had Fred Wesley and Mitch on their record.
So where will we find you when the touring's done? You're just going to be kicking where?
We're doing movies and cartoons and animation, so I'm still be producing the band. Yeah, I still got a finger for that.
All right. Didn't we learn something about that funk? And George Clinton? I know that's right. Now you know how the funk came to be and how it grew. Yes, indeed. Now, he was honest. He told it like it T.I. is, which is not more than preaching the same words that he was preaching back in 76 through 80s in regards to creating a better world where peace, love, harmony, and music and funk presides. You see what I'm saying? Keep it real and alive. I know that's right. And if you agree that that final George Clinton, hopefully not last album tour, because, you know, he can retire if he wants to, you know, if that's his final tour and that's his choice. But, yeah, if you agree that that's just what he needs, is that final tour, going out in style, talking about it, shouting loud, but he should have did tear the roof off the mother. I'm going to tell you about that. But he did all the great ones. Flashlight, Yes Sir, Nose, he had good dancers, there they go. You know, I felt they should have did a little more Maggot Brain and Chocolate City on that album, but you know what? They were probably trying to please Hawaii, you know what I'm saying. When you were back in New York and St. Louis and LA doing the tour, you probably heard it all. I know that's right. But I'm going to say it again, if you agree that you should see that final tour and catch George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelics, leave comments below and let me know. Or if you went to the concert, let me know how it was. Tell me what your experience was about. Were you able to get up on stage and dance too? All right, honey, let's see it. Now, I want to say, contact me at FeministNewsN, gmail.com, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and the Facebook page. And you know what, I'm that Soulful Progressive on Twitter, and I got that Patreon. Okay, I need to stop talking about Patreon until I catch it up, but I will. Now, I got that Rant of the Day, Feminist News Network on Blogger. Hey, holla. Catch one of those. I got a new one coming out this week. Hey. Now, what I want to tell my news crew, if you understand that I'm this one woman team and you care to donate, I got PayPal me, Feminist News Network, for you to make sure that we keep it going strong, get more videos, and come out strong. I know that's right. Get it going on. But all of you out there, due to B. Smith, I've been blowing up, and I want to tell the news crew I'm going to focus on making sure that we do what we can for B. Smith and see what's going on. I got some new updates to do in regards to that will be coming out soon. I'm still working on getting some confirmation on some information, so know that. But I gotta say, in regards to George Clinton, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining. Peace.
Free your mind, and your ass will follow. The kingdom of heaven is within. If you soul, I will lift your funky emotion. All that is good is nasty, and nothing is good unless you play.